Imagine this for a second. What if just one smart marketing decision could completely change the future of $1 billion real estate company? What if a single campaign could push Opendoor's stock price higher and suddenly put it in front of millions of new customers who have never even heard the name before? Companies don't rise just because they have good products or smooth operations. They rise when they own attention. And right now, Opendoor is at that very crossroads. Stay tuned, because in this video, we're going to break down how Opendoor could completely transform its future. And by the end, you'll see exactly why one right move in marketing could shift everything. But before we continue, a quick disclaimer. This video is created purely for educational and entertainment purposes. Nothing I say here should be taken as financial advice. Always do your own research or speak with a licensed financial advisor before making any investment decisions. The stock market involves risks, and your money is your responsibility. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into it. If this company really wants to succeed, it's not enough to just have strong operations or smart expansion plans. Those things matter, but what matters even more is awareness. Right now, most people still don't even know what Opendoor is, and that's a massive issue. They can expand into new regions, they can launch new apps, they can improve internal systems, but without capturing attention, none of it sticks. Marketing is the engine that fuels growth. And in today's world, marketing literally decides which companies are forgotten and which ones break into the mainstream. Now, to be fair, operationally, Kaz and the team seem to be doing their job. There's evidence of stronger foundations, smoother processes, and yes, the rumors about moving into Canada are exciting. It shows ambition. But imagine opening up a beautiful new store in the middle of a city and never telling anyone about it. Imagine launching in the lower 48 and expecting people to just magically show up. That's what happens when a company forgets the power of marketing. Here's where things get complicated. Eric, who's been closely tied to Opendoor's narrative, seems almost obsessed with Drake. Yes, Drake, the rapper. Now, don't get me wrong. Drake is massive in Canadian culture and global music, but does that actually make sense for Opendoor's marketing right now? Honestly, I don't think so. When you see someone spending over 30 days outside Drake's house trying to connect a real estate company with a music celebrity, it feels like energy is being spent in the wrong place. It feels like chasing gimmicks instead of building strategy. Marketing is not about attaching yourself to the biggest name, it's about attaching yourself to the right name. And I think this is a distraction at a time when Opendoor needs clarity. So let's flip the conversation. Instead of putting energy into a celebrity that doesn't line up with the brand, why not look at someone who is actually reshaping American culture right now? Someone who is not only relevant, but proven to bring results. I'm talking about Sydney Sweeney. If you followed her, you know she's more than just a Hollywood name. She has the kind of cultural momentum that actually moves markets. Look at what happened when she partnered with Crocs. That one campaign alone pushed Crocs' stock price up by 3%. That's real, measurable impact from a single marketing collaboration. And it's not just Crocs. American Eagle worked with Sydney Sweeney as well, and the results were clear. Their brand started trending again, younger audiences reconnected with the company, and their stock began to reflect that momentum. Was it the only factor? Of course not. But marketing played a real role in giving that business visibility at the exact time it needed it. That's the kind of smart partnership Opendoor should be looking at, because it creates visibility, relevance, and legitimacy all in one. Now think about Opendoor for a second. This is a company that has already built operational updates. They're not standing still, but what they're missing is cultural relevance. If people don't recognize your brand, if they don't talk about it, if they don't see it on their feeds or associate it with someone they admire, then you're invisible in today's market. Sydney Sweeney or someone like her could instantly put Opendoor in front of millions of potential users and investors. And yes, it would come with a price tag, but the visibility could pay for itself many times over. Of course, some people will argue this is risky, or that Drake might actually still be a good fit if Opendoor expands into Canada. And look, I get it, marketing is subjective. But here's the thing. The market doesn't reward companies for safe, predictable moves. The market rewards companies that know how to generate attention. And right now, Opendoor has hype in certain circles. It has a cult-like following online, but outside of that bubble, it's almost invisible. That's a problem. So the question is, does Opendoor want to stay a niche play for a handful of dedicated followers, or does it want to be a household name in real estate? Because if it's the latter, then chasing the right marketing strategy isn't optional. It's mandatory. The best part is we've already seen the proof with Crocs, with American Eagle, and with other brands that took the leap with high-impact marketing partnerships. The formula is right in front of them. Now, I could be completely wrong here, and maybe you think Drake really is the right choice. Maybe you think there's another individual out there who could make an even bigger difference for Opendoor's growth. That's why I want to hear from you. Who do you think Opendoor should partner with? Do you agree with me that Sydney Sweeney is the smarter choice? Or do you think there's someone else who could bring even more attention to the brand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this is where the conversation really starts. And remember, at the end of the day, companies rise not just because of what they build, but because of how they sell the vision. Operations and expansion matter, yes, but if people don't know you, they don't invest in you, and they don't use your services. Marketing is the missing link that can transform Opendoor from an overlooked player to a serious contender. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel, because I'll be tracking Opendoor closely over the next few months and breaking down every major move they make. Until then, stay smart, stay invested, and I'll see you in the next one.